Can you share a little bit about yourself and the type of shoulder pain that you were experiencing before working with us?
Okay, this goes back to what I put in the note. I didn't realize how jacked up my shoulders were until, I started this one started screaming,
Yeah.
okay? And then when we're going through everything, this one's actually been pretty quiet lately. I'm beginning to think he doesn't love me anymore. He doesn't talk to me, he doesn't write, doesn't send letters or nothing.
Can you touch on like the torn rotator cuff that you had on that right shoulder a little bit?
I was diagnosed with, what do you call it?
Spinatus.
Well, it was, a slight tear in the rotator cuff. He only did that, he did an X-ray, and I'm going, "Well, how are you gonna be able to tell that through an X-ray?"
Right.
To me, that should be more of an MRI or a CT or something like that, but anyways, he diagnosed it with a slight tear in the rotator cuff and then sent me to rehab, and in rehab, they were putting the needles in me and like a TENS kinda unit kinda thing, and, I'm doing all that, and then they had me doing the open book, closed book kinda stuff, and then they had me with a pulley going this, and so, to me, it was still hurting just as much that a month afterwards that it was at the beginning, and so, I went back to the doctor and I said, "Rehab's not doing it," and he sent me for an MRI. The blessing was my insurance got all jacked up. I got it straightened out, but I never got the MRI done, which
Yeah.
if I would've got the MRI done, I'm sure I'd have had to have the surgery.
That's what a lot of people do, man. They get that MRI and then they'll freaking schedule that surgery like 6, 12 weeks like from that.
Yeah, yeah, so, divine intervention, I don't know what you wanna call it, I screwed up and didn't get my Medicare Part B taken care of the way it should have been. I got fed some, bad information and didn't do it, and so but by the grace of God, right?
Yeah. So what what made you decide to work with like me as like a virtual shoulder specialist?
Well, you came up on Instagram, and I go, "Okay, that's cool," and then you popped up about 3 or 4 more times. I kinda figured, okay, quit standing on the roof praying to God, maybe this is him throwing out a lifeline saying, "Hey, pendejo, this might help you."
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. What
So,
yeah, what if we kinda go over, like, in that, like, initial assessment that, like, maybe was different than, like, what you tried in the past or, like, a different set of eyes?
what y the aha moment for me was when you had me sit on the belt and pull my shoulder down and twist my head out this way,
I am
and
what
y instant relief. I go, "Okay, I guess I'm in." And because I have to test it,
yeah,
well, and then when, like, I was going through all this and I'm still going to my martial arts class, right?
yeah.
And they're going, "Well, at what point are you being an idiot, for coming to class?" I go, "I still go out in public, dude." And he looked at me and goes, "What do you mean by that?" I go, "Well, the bad guy's not gonna care if my shoulder's hurt or not. I have to know how far I can push it and what I can do, how I can work around that shoulder pain. So, I have to find the back door to where it doesn't hurt."
What did you think about the way that we structured, like, your rehab program over that 12-week period? Was there anything, like, unique or different that stood out to you?
Yeah, to me, I didn't get the cookie cutter feeling. Like, when I was over there at the other place, I felt like it was a cookie cutter. And what I've noticed in some of the stuff that uh, I have to take my wife to all these appointments and, she's getting procedures done on this or on that. And Henry Ford would be really proud of the system that some of these surgery centers have with the way that they wheel you in, they wheel you, and get you ready, wheel you back there, bring you back to, what do you call it when you're coming out of it?
Yeah,
Recovery.
yeah.
And the assembly line approach that they have to everything, and it's a cookie cutter thing. And I didn't get this feeling with you. It was I felt like you listened to what I said, the way I felt the previous week, and then the following week, the workout changed. And I could tell, okay, he's hitting me from this angle and this angle.
Mhm.
I can in the martial arts, you go when you're striking somebody, you're going top, above, below, and then to the side, and you're coming. So I could see that that's what I was doing on the shoulder.
What would you say to someone who's hesitant about starting a virtual shoulder rehab program like this?
I would say it depends on who it's with. Your program, I would highly recommend it. But this program, when I was going, okay, well, how's this going to work if it's going to be, online and all this, and there's a level of you know, um, obviously the distance,
Right.
but I probably spent more time with you than I spent with the doc, and the doc is down the street. He's within 2 miles of me. Even when I go and talk to him, I'm not in. I'm waiting for him longer than I'm visiting with him.
Yeah.
Right. In this here, uh, we make contact every week. You send me the exercise. We've met what 3 or 4 times like this. That's more contact than I ever had with my doctor. A lot of the stuff you'll put out there, I'll adjust to it, or I find a way to make it easier or make it harder
Yeah.
and hit it from a different angle.